Hi, everybody. Good morning. Karen here, virtual faith and fitness coach, and I got a confession. This is a confession video, and videos don't confession doesn't ever come just because it comes from conviction. Like when I feel convicted about something, I have to talk about it, I have to share it, I have to confess it. And so I want to share something with you. If you are an entrepreneur, or if you are somebody who just wants to do your business God's way, you want to honor God in any career that you have. Hi, Stephanie. I gotta give you a warning, and I want to share with you the pit I fell into. And this is super hard for me because if you know me, I've battled sharing weaknesses for so long. Good morning, Jennifer. I hate to share my weaknesses, guys. I'm just going to be honest. I struggle with pride big time. And so for me to come on here and tell you one of the biggest areas I totally failed, how to really follow Jesus is hard, but it's important because, it's not always easy. And so this is very faith-based. Whoop, there goes that. Because you guys know that my business, my goodness, why can't my phone stay up? The entire reason I became a Team Beachbody coach, you guys, was because I wanted to do it God's way, right? You know my story by now. That was the whole point. I did not want to move and do things unless God was behind it. What happened in the last couple of months, though? I ran way ahead. This past Sunday, I didn't go to church. That never happens. You guys know, I really believe that going to church is important. You get to be with community. You get to love on other people. People can love on you. You grow together. You share together. But it's very rare when God does this. But every now and then, every 4 or 5 months, he calls me to just sit with him. And I usually want to avoid it, being honest, because when he does that, that means that I'm about to get called out. And I got called out. So he called me to sit with him. I didn't go to church, but then I honestly didn't want to open my Bible. I was like, I don't know what you want to say. I don't feel like it, God. I don't want to talk right now because I kind of knew that things were not okay, but I didn't want to deal with the fact that they weren't okay. And so instead, I was going for a walk with my son. And I decided, you know what? I'm willing to listen. I don't have the patience to read, but I'm willing to listen. So I go on YouTube and I look for Francis Chan. He's one of my favorite teachers. And I'm just searching through a ton of topics that he talks about. And what grabs my attention is this title, A Personal Relationship with Jesus. Of all the titles, why did that one grab me? Seriously, when you are drawn to something, it's probably revealing of something you either don't have or want to have or want to build on. And that, instantly I pressed it. I could feel I was... my relationship with Jesus, my personal, intimate relationship with Jesus wasn't good. It wasn't. I was showing up to do my devotions every day, but my mind wasn't there. My spirit wasn't there. I wasn't really learning. I was rushing it. I wasn't really sitting down and dining with Jesus. It was totally a happy meal to go. And so I click it and I start listening to him teach. And within the first 10 minutes, I'm in tears because I know what he's saying. So if you got a Bible, Exodus 33, that's where we're camping out. Exodus 33. This is where the Israelites are legit. I can't use the P word because it's not biblical at all. But they are frustrating God to the max. They're on his last nerve. And he's just ready to wipe them out. Right? And Moses many times has now interceded on their behalf. God, don't wipe them out. What are people going to say? Because you saved them and then you destroyed them. Do you want people? And so God hears Moses and he doesn't. And so... at this point, the Lord said to Moses, leave this place, you and the people you brought up out of Egypt, and go up to the land I promised you on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give it to you to your descendants. I will send an angel before you and drive out the Canaanites, Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. Go up to the land flowing with milk and honey, but I will not go with you, because you are a stiff-necked people, and I might destroy you on the way. God's saying, you know what, Moses, take them to the promised land. I'll even send an angel to go before you, to protect you and guide you and do all that good stuff. Go ahead to the promised land, but I'm not going to go with you. What? Flip the page. What does Moses say? So Moses says, if your presence does not go with us, in verse 15, do not send us up from here. How will anyone know that you are pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth? That's a big response. I really admire Moses for that response. So here's where I got the slap in the face, you guys. And here's where I want you to hear me this morning. In this business, I was chasing the promised land at any cost. The fruit of the business, the financial gain of the business, as many coaches on the team, or whatever. Like all these things. You plug your stuff in. And I just want the promised land. I just want to get to the promised land. What if God said to me, Karen, you know what, you want it? You want the harvest? You want the promised land? Take it. Go ahead. Like, go for it. I'll bless it. I'll send an angel before you. You can have it. But I'm not going to go with you. I'm not going to be behind it. How many of us would respond the way that Moses did? Like, how many of us would actually just be like, all right, thanks. Like, I'll take it. I think a lot of the Israelites would have just gone to the promised land. But Moses' response just seriously hit me hard. I'm not going anywhere unless you go with us. I won't touch the promised land unless you are behind it, God. I don't want it unless you are guiding it and you're with me through it. When I became a coach, this, like, the desire, the determination, the goal was that this would not look like any other coach. This would not be like any other entrepreneur opportunity. I really wanted to just honor God in it and let him set the pace and guide me in my business. And in the last few months, I've noticed that I was willing to take the promised land at any cost, even if it meant that God wasn't behind it. And hear me, sister, I'm not saying I'm quitting, because I know that coaching is my calling. I know that my team is growing and flourishing with the right women. You know, like, I'm not saying that, like, bye. No. But what I'm saying is I got to take a step back and just reevaluate. Is God with me at the pace I'm going, or do I need to back up a little bit? Because here's the thing. When I'm walking with God, I don't want to run ahead of him and him not be behind me and with me. And I don't want to be way too far behind him and like dragging my feet because I don't want to follow him. I want to be right by him. I want to be right next to him. I want to move when he moves. I want to stop when he stops. I want to rest when he says rest. And I want to, be productive when he says be productive. And so in any career, in anything that you're doing, we all have goals that we pursue in our careers. We all have goals that we're running toward. But just be careful. Be careful, because I fell into this trap that you don't hustle to the point that God is removed from the equation. I don't want it. I don't want the promised land without God being behind it. And it took me till now, from Sunday to Thursday, to say that genuinely. Like, because I've been trying to say it like, I don't know if I really want to say this, or I don't know if I really want to, but now, come Thursday morning, I'm in this place with God where I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want it without you. Nope. I refuse to accept the promised land, God, unless you go with me. Because if I get the promised land, if I become a top coach, if I get all these things and you're not with me, why? Like, what is going to tell people? What's going to distinguish me from anybody else? Nothing. The whole point is that you set me apart, that you shine through, that you get the glory. So if you're not with me and you're not behind it, I don't want it. Plug yourself in. I'm not talking about Beachbody specifically. I'm talking about any career that you're pursuing. God wants to set you apart, and he wants to bless you. He wants to bless you. But be wise in making sure that you're walking in step with him, sister. It's okay to set big goals, but set big goals with God, not without him. And so this morning, that's kind of what I've been feeling is, Moses stood his ground and said to God, no, I'm not moving, I'm not budging. And that's where I want to be this morning. And that's the confession I need to share with you, is that I totally took it without him, and I don't want to. And so I'm taking a couple of steps back and I'm saying, okay, I'll move when you move. I'll move when you move. And I know you're going to bless this. I know you're going to. You already are. But I know you're going to multiply it way more than it is now. And when you do, you have to be behind it. You have to be the person that I can give a clear shout out. I don't want it to be by my hands. Yes, any kind of harvest requires what, you guys? God's grace and human efforts. God's grace and human effort. That's where you see a harvest together. Okay? So yeah, grace and hustle are required. Both are required, grace and hustle, but not one more than the other. If all I do is hustle, 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 and God is not with me and God is not a part of it, I'm going to burn out and quit, or I'm going to succeed and not really ever find true joy and true contentment. And so for me, it's definitely this combination of walking in step with Jesus, being guided by his grace, and then me hustling in the places that he's like, Karen, let's go. Time to work, time to put in the effort that I've called you to do and do it well. And so I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope that you hear the message behind it this morning. I'm pausing everything. I'm not even worried about my workout right now. I just wanted to come here and share this with you because it's a truth that hit me in the gut. And maybe you're in a season where it's not going to hit you in the gut. You kind of have to be in that place for conviction. I can't convict you. Only God can convict. I can't do that. And so I'm just sharing with you my conviction. But I pray that you guys have a great Thursday morning. I pray that you move today with God and that you don't do anything unless you know that God is behind it. I love you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you for choosing to follow this page every single day. You have no idea how much your feedback and your encouragement means to me. And I'd just love to know, what was your biggest takeaway below this post? For real, tell me. Let's have a conversation. What did you take away below? Talk to you soon.